Here we go. Okay. Welcome, everybody. It is February 12th, 2024. This is a meeting of the Mayor and Council of Princeton, New Jersey. And could we start with the meeting statement, please?
Adequate notice of this meeting was provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act, including the time, date, and location of the meeting. In addition, the agenda and all related materials were posted electronically and made available to the public on Princeton's meeting portal in advance of the meeting.
Thank you very much. David's going to do the land acknowledgement for us tonight.
We gather today on the land of the Lenni Lenape. As members of the Princeton community, we aspire to show appreciation, respect, and concern for all peoples and our environment. We honor the Lenape and other indigenous caretakers of these lands and waters, the elders who lived here before, the indigenous today, and the generations to come.
Thank you. Do we have roll call, please?
Ms. Perron-Lambros?
Here.
Ms. Niedergang?
Here.
Mr. Cohen?
Here.
Ms. Sachs? Here. Ms. Fraga?
Here.
Mr. Newland?
Here.
Mayor Frida?
Here.
You have quorum.
Thank you. If you'd like to rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, I believe there's one amendment to the agenda tonight, and I believe that's going to be Resolution 2447, which we are going to postpone. So just so people are aware of that when we get to that. All right. Next up on the agenda, we have a proclamation that we are going to read jointly. So just give us a second as we pass the proclamation from one to the other as we hit all the whereases. Leighton will start us off.
Good evening and thank you, Mayor. This proclamation is from the Office of the Mayor, Municipality of Princeton. Proclamation for Muslim Heritage Month, January 2024. Whereas on April 26, 2023, Governor Phil Murphy signed a joint resolution by the Senate and General Assembly of the State of New Jersey designating the month of January each year as Muslim Heritage Month, and
Whereas Princeton is proud to recognize the contributions of the Muslim American community that plays an important role in enriching the unique character of our community, and
Whereas Muslims are the world's second largest religious group, practicing the Islamic faith with 1.9 billion followers representing approximately 25% of the world's population. There are about 3.45 million Muslims in the United States from diverse racial and ethnic backgrounds. The Muslim community represents 1.1% of the population in the United States. And
Whereas Muslims first arrived in North America along with enslaved Africans, whom historians estimate 30% were Muslim. Their Islamic beliefs and practices contributed in numerous ways to the founding of our nation, including courageous and dedicated military service in every major war, including the American Revolutionary War. And
Whereas Muslims have made significant contributions throughout history, including notable achievements in philosophy, mathematics, chemistry, physics, astronomy, medicine, music, architecture, literature, and the arts. Their philanthropy, humanitarianism, civic responsibility, and culture help enrich the United States socially, economically, and historically. And
whereas Muslims have made significant contributions throughout history, including notable achievements. Oh, I'm reading the wrong one. Whereas there are nearly 300,000 Muslim Americans in New Jersey, representing one of the largest Muslim American communities in the United States. Their contributions help fortify and strengthen the economy and diversity of the people in our state and local communities, and
whereas the municipality of Princeton supports the rights of all its residents and calls upon our community to eliminate prejudice and bigotry everywhere. Princeton was the first municipality in the state to pass a resolution to condemn and combat Islamophobia. We celebrate the great diversity of all our citizens and extend the promise of our country to all. Now, therefore, I, Mark Frieda, Mayor of the Municipality of Princeton, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, on behalf of the entire governing body, do hereby recognize the month of January as Muslim Heritage Month. Thank you very much. I think we have a couple comments. And let me just...
Hello. Assalamualaikum. I am Hayamia, a junior at Princeton High School. I would first like to thank the Township of Princeton, the Mayor of Princeton, Mark Freda, and the Muslim community of Princeton for making this proclamation possible. January being declared Muslim Heritage Month marks an important and thoughtful milestone in Princeton's Muslim community, of which I am proud to call myself a member. Growing up in Princeton, I have been surrounded by an amazing group of women and men who have guided me to become not only a better Muslim, but a better member of this community. The proclamation mentions how long there has been Muslim presence in the United States. For centuries, Muslims have included themselves in the community, working hard to make sure that the USA is a safe place for people of all different faiths, races, gender, and more. This proclamation gives us visibility and gives the community an incentive to engage as citizens, so our point of view is relevant and important. In the Quran, Allah says, "Is the reward of goodness anything but goodness?" As a member of the Muslim population in Princeton, I would like to reward this goodness by continue to work to make Princeton a better place for people of all faiths and beliefs.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nabash Sharif. I'm a local physician in the community. I'm an allergist with Penn Medicine, Becker ENT and Allergy. I live with my family in the Autumn Hill Reserve area with my husband and my 3 little children, soon to be 4 any day now, and the oldest just turned 5. I'm also the Interfaith Chair of the Muslim Center of Greater Princeton, located in West Windsor, and we've had the honor of hosting Mayor Freda there at many of our events. So I want to thank Mayor Freda, I want to thank the Township Council for supporting this really important proclamation for Muslim Heritage Month. It's been a really hard time for Muslims with the rise of Islamophobia lately, and so it's really important in this time to really recognize the contributions of Muslims to this country. And as is written in the proclamation, and as many people don't know, Muslims really have been a part of this nation's fabric from before its founding even, and have been part of the rise of this nation with every step along the way, including even the civil rights movement, and more recently even in local politics and civic engagement. It's really a huge part of our faith. So I look forward to raising my children in this township where their identity, where their heritage is going to be not only recognized, but celebrated, because as we know, inclusivity and recognition really just enhances the fabric and the richness of the entire community as a whole. So thank you so much, really appreciate the time, and thank you again, Mayor Frida.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Tehseen Thabar. I'm an assistant professor of religious studies and Islamic studies at Princeton University. I want to commend the town of Princeton for this important step to recognize not only the rich and complex heritage of Islam and Muslim societies, but also the centrality of Islam and Muslims to the past and present of this country. But as we commemorate the proclamation of Muslim Heritage Month, we must remember the significance of Palestine to Muslim life and heritage. One cannot possibly celebrate Muslim heritage anywhere today without highlighting the most staggering and violent example of oppression of Muslim and Arab life in the world today, the ongoing genocide of the people of Palestine. This is especially the case here, given the direct role of the United States in authorizing, supporting, and funding this genocide. The heritage of any community cannot be recognized without recognizing the injustices that its people suffer from, grieve for, and constantly confront. If we're indeed serious about this laudable goal of respecting and cherishing Muslim life, the least we can do is raise our voice against the daily erasure of Muslim life and call for an immediate ceasefire to the State of Israel's ongoing genocide against the people of Palestine. Thank you.
Good evening, or Assalamu Alaikum, which is the traditional Islamic greeting, which means peace. I want to thank Princeton's Mayor Frida and Council for this wonderful proclamation for Muslim Heritage Month in January. At a time when Islamophobia in our country and state is at an all-time high, and I have friends reaching out to me from different towns across New Jersey, sharing that it has been difficult to get their mayors to issue a Muslim Heritage Month proclamation in their towns, and even getting their local councils to pass a resolution to condemn and combat Islamophobia has been tremendously difficult. I'm truly grateful to our leadership's elected officials for being inclusive of the Muslim community. In December, with the passage of the resolution to condemn and combat Islamophobia, the first in the state, Princeton became the first to pass in the state of New Jersey and probably the country as well. And in January, with the proclamation acknowledging Muslim Heritage Month, I'm truly grateful to live in a town that values diversity and believes in being inclusive of of all of its diverse communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, thank you all for that. The next item on our agenda is a presentation, Bloom Local Spring Campaign. And Michelle, you're going to kick us off on that?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I'm really excited about this collaboration. This is really a great example of the town and the Experience Princeton, the business community coming together and working together, and to bring a lot of community partners together. So I'm really excited about this presentation. And I want to thank and acknowledge my colleague, Councilman Leighton Newland, for his wonderful ideas about making a kindness campaign, and our staff about making more of a cleanliness and taking ownership of the outdoors more. So pulling all that together, we have a wonderful presentation tonight from Experience Princeton's marketing arm, which is called Same Brain. And Martha Smith will be doing the presentation tonight called Bloom Local. So with that, I'd like to welcome Martha over. She's zooming in from elsewhere, from Chicago, I believe. So welcome, Martha. Are we able to put Bloom Local on the,
Yeah, Martha,
thank you.
she should be able to speak. Okay, they're working on this in the back room again. No, I know, they're trying to fix it. That's why Raina got up and went in the back room to talk to Adam to fix it. I'm sorry? Then Martha, if you can hear us, we know you're talking, or we're talking, and we're trying to...
All right, I'm actually in the office, so I'm gonna go to a different room and we're gonna get it all straightened out, but you should be able to share your screen now.
Okay, thank you. Let me see if I can share my screen. I don't think you can hear me though.
Okay. Do we have this fixed? Is that the...
Yes, it's sharing. Okay, so it's sharing. So just give me 2 seconds to go back into the room.
Okay. And
Okay, sounds good.
and let's turn the volume down. It was up at 77. We can bring it back down to... It went to 77. 11 out of 10. I'm a little behind.
Hey, Isaac, Raina is trying to figure this out.
Okay, Martha, just 1 sec, sorry. Hey, Adam, can we just turn the volume down a little bit?
Sorry?
The volume's still, she's still coming through extremely loud.
Oh, too loud? Okay.
Yeah, can we just turn that down a little bit? One of those nights.
So I can hear her.
Somehow you muted it. Did you
Okay,
mute
why
it?
don't we try it again now? Da-dum-dum.
Martha, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, Isaac, are you there?
Here we,
You heard me.
Adam or Raina, are you able to talk to Martha? See if we can hear her?
Okay.
Can you guys hear me now?
Barely. All right, now we can hardly hear her.
Yeah, if it doesn't work, Isaac's here,
we'll just
present, so
jump-
we'll
Now?
have to have him do it.
Yeah,
Yes, maybe so.
there we go.
I hear me.
We have liftoff. Martha, go ahead.
Okay, Raina says she can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm gonna hang up on Isaac because I think I'm on the phone with him.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was getting an echo from Isaac, but I think you can hear me in the room. I hope this is true.
It is.
Go ahead, Martha.
Oh, I can hear me too. Okay. Okay, you guys, thank you for your patience. At some point, only Raina could hear me, and I felt like I was her imaginary friend or something. So, yeah, I appreciate your patience. Let me see here. If you are seeing the screen that says Bloom Local, please wave a hand in the air. Oh, bless. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, great. Thank you guys for your patience and your kindness. Appropriate that we were talking about a kindness campaign somewhat here. Well, I am excited to finally present tonight Bloom Local, which was a spring campaign for Princeton. As I think Michelle teed it up, as I heard in a tinny fashion through Isaac's telephone, we've been working with Experience Princeton and the municipality and local businesses, et cetera, to present sort of a cohesive campaign for different areas. So we had Gift Local for the winter, we had Dine Local coming up right around the corner, and this is Bloom Local. So I promise not to do too much reading for you, but you will hear this in my mellifluous voice. So spring in our step. Princeton comes back to life in the spring. The weather is warmer, flowers are unfurling, lime green leaves are clothing bare branches. People are eager to be outside again. Stores and restaurants greet more customers, and new seasonal attractions entice both local residents and out-of-town visitors. To celebrate this time of year, we'll turn Princeton into a Bloom town from March to May. We unite our efforts under the campaign Bloom Local. This memorable phrase brings to mind bloom where you are planted, which means be your best self right now, where you are, and ties into our focus on local living, pride in the appearance of your community, and showing kindness to those who share it. The feelings we want to create with this campaign: civic pride, taking good care of the place we call home; kindness, thinking of how our actions affect others; community pride and participation, look at everything we can accomplish when we work together; connectedness among local government, community organizations, and businesses in Princeton; and most to the point, I suppose, joy, fun, warmth, comfort, and trust. What this would look like for the municipality, it would look like broader messaging among your communications. You can adopt slogans like Bloom Local, Help Princeton Streets Bloom, or Businesses Blooming, and related content. In social media, we like to recognize the municipal employees who keep our streets clean and raise awareness about all the work we already do regarding trash collection, cleaning sidewalks. We're thinking about a spring photo contest to ask members of the community to submit photos of springtime in Princeton, and then there'd also be a community vote on the winner. Pitching a story to press. I get my tap into in my mailbox every morning, I know. But hiring professional photographers to go around and cover some of the events and marketing, share compelling visuals with a press release. A video interview series to catch up with Princeton's unsung heroes, people on the street style, asking how will you bloom this spring. And to reassess signage, to look around our immediate environment and explore alternatives that are more neighborly. One example of this could be the Walk Your Wheels campaign. I think right now, when we visited in October, there were signs that said, like, it's the law, walk your wheels, but recasting things like that in a more neighborly way. So walk your wheels for safer sidewalks, or having imagery of like seniors and strollers and things like that. We can work with volunteer groups. Part of the beauty of this campaign is that it doesn't have to necessarily cost a dime for the biggest impact. April, as Craig at the municipality wisely pointed out to me, was National Volunteer Month. This would be a good time to activate local schools and become part of their service projects for the month. We could connect with places like Brandywine or other senior centers to be inclusive of senior citizens. Send them out with students for truly heartwarming pictures. Maybe the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, and of course, because it's Bloom Local, I thought a daisy troop. Volunteers could wear 3x3 buttons made by Experience Princeton that say Bloom Local for both visibility and a tangible reminder of their work. And then after the cleanup, have signs showing Bloom Local volunteers of our professional photographer from earlier in special locations, especially places where people often litter to deter them from messing up something that community members work hard for. Other planned outreach for Bloom Local: local businesses, naturally. Local historians or architects could have a hand in this. Sustainable Princeton, churches, garden clubs, Mercer County for prescription disposal. I know that a lot of good spring cleaning efforts start with like a donation drive, prescription pickup, and bike tuning or something like that. I know that the Princeton Police Department has a bin to drop it in, but having like a mobile unit go out and do this would keep things out of the drinking water and help people stay healthy. Goodwill, Salvation Army, AMVETS, or something equivalent to have a big spring donation drive. for clothing, furniture, etc. And of course, my faves, the arts community, pulling in the Arts Council, the Princeton Makes Artists Cooperative, local dancers, musicians, and theater performers. It's interesting to imagine like Rite of Spring being performed in Palmer Square. The visual here is actually a mural that was at Princeton Shopping Center done by the Arts Council of Princeton that falls thematically in that kind of Bloom Local effort. For events and branding, having Bloom Local events, having local experts speak on growth and change in Princeton, as well as what upcoming projects are going to beautify the area. I know Bob Hillier's studio is amazing and has kind of a sneak peek into what the future of Princeton could look like. This would be key too, finding out about already in the works, spring-themed, or at least spring-timed local events. We could pitch co-branding to them to expand the Bloom Local reach and also elevate their communications. We could work with streetscapes, local florists, or landscapers to get sponsored locations with signs. This bed brought to you by Bloom Local banners up and down the streets. You've probably seen these around in their Gift Local and Dine Local iterations. Finally, there could be tie-ins with fun giveaways like branded seed packets for people to bloom very local, I suppose, in their own yards. Present people with pots of blooming daffodils as a trophy for winning that best community photo for a group having the most volunteers, etc. And then, of course, there's always a nerdy aspect to this too. Measuring the results. You could find out if we've made a change or made an impact. We could count the number of trucks filled with community donations, pounds of prescriptions collected, number of bikes tuned up as part of a Bloom Local campaign, the number of community cleanup volunteers or volunteer teams activated in April, the number of Bloom Locals affiliated spring events or performances, businesses or miles of street that we window wash or power wash, flowers or flower beds planted. We can measure the reach of social media posts with the Bloom Local hashtag. And the window for this, I think, could be March 19th to May 26th. That's the 2024 spring equinox to the day before Memorial Day, a nice big chunk of spring. And then finally, the estimated monetary value of all the work done on the streets, for the businesses, in the restaurants, etc. All right, that's what I have to present for Bloom Local. I think one thing that's really exciting about this is that it could have participation from all groups anywhere. I think it also inspires ideas in others. Thinking about how you could Bloom Local personally and how you can bring things along to make real, tangible, visible, instant differences in the community. All right, I can't guarantee that I can hear you, but hopefully Isaac can help field questions if needed.
Thank you, Martha. That was great. I think we all were able to hear. I wanted to just mention a couple of things. So the main focus is really tonight to just reach out and let all of my colleagues know and the community know this is real grassroots type of effort. And it's a low budget type of effort as well. But what it really is going to take is a lot of volunteer time. So it's reaching out. Like I have the Shade Tree Commission that I'm a liaison to, and the Pedestrian Bike Advisory Committee. So those are two commissions and committees I can work with to bring them into this. It's the time of Porch Fest. It happens to be the same time as Arbor Day. So there's a lot of things already happening that we can tie into. And I know that my colleagues have other various events and committees that you're working with that may also tie in. So I just thought we'd do just maybe a little brainstorming, just go around. And I also really need to give a shout out to Craig Dinwoody, who is our communications director, who's spearheading this and coordinating all of this effort. There's a lot we can do with social media. So I want to get your feedback and your ideas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. David?
Yeah, in the spirit of involving BCCs, I think it would be wonderful to, and I'll ask the Flood and Stormwater Commission if they'd like to install a rain garden somewhere if we can find a spot, because, you know, it really works with the theme, and I think we need more promotion of that green storm, you know, green infrastructure.
Okay. Eve?
Thank you, Martha, Isaac, Michelle, for this. I think this is a really exciting project, and I hope that will tie in to other events that are happening already locally. April is the month that hosts Earth Day. The watershed has its stream cleanups then scheduled for April 13th. Someplace really trashy, but we don't know where yet. So if you see a lot of trash somewhere, please let me know. Also, I think I went out just a week or two ago with a woman who contacted me because she was on her own kind of mission to clean up her neighborhood, and we went in the Mount Lucas area and did a walk and picked up a bunch of trash that mostly seemed to be coming from people throwing things out of their car windows. So that's something, I'm not sure what the solution to that is, but if anybody has any ideas, I would love to take that on. And I hope that we can reach out as this, kind of indicates to various parts of the community, maybe the entire community, to have everybody go out sometime during this period and do a walk in their neighborhood or another neighborhood and pick up some trash. And I want to just say from the environmental side that, trash by the side of the road often ends up going into our waterways. Things roll downhill, so that bottle of, soda that gets tossed out the window, or a can of soda more likely, gets filled up with various things and then ends up in one of our waterways, and that is, the water we rely on. So it's not just aesthetic. The aesthetics are important too, but it's also a real step towards a healthier environment. So I'd love to tie all of those things in. So thank you.
Thank you, Eve. Leighton?
Yeah, I just want to thank Michelle for the shout out, and I want to commend Craig Dinwoody and the administrative team, Bernie and his crew, our clerk, Raina, everybody who, works in the background on facilitating, the great ideas that we as council people have. But this is really a campaign about kindness. It's about what can we do to build community. And I think a lot of people just kind of take for granted that, we here in Princeton, like through some sort of magic, that things happen. It doesn't. Sometimes you have to plant seeds so that people can come together. Here you have a kindness campaign, a campaign that can bring young people, a campaign that can bring old people, a campaign that can bring in our business partners, a campaign that can bring in those people who have different modes of transportation to get around town. A campaign that can combine various elements of government, Sustainable Princeton, the Shade Tree Commission. Maybe as part of this, Taylor Zapruder can come to a neighborhood and plant a tree if that's what is needed in the neighborhood. So, if we can just sometimes have a vision and stay creative and look for areas to build community and to help people engage, that I think is a very necessary and essential part of what we do as elected officials. And this will work if we get volunteers. And that's the effort, to get people to volunteer for good stuff and to stay in the game. So, we welcome people to be a part of Bloom Local. It's that time of year, springtime, people should be feeling good, and this is something to feel good about. And again, thank you to Craig, to Michelle, to Team Bernie, to Raina, to the staff that helped put this together, and also thanks to the young lady who made this presentation today. Thank you.
Thanks, Leighton. Other? Okay. All right, so Michelle, do you just need, we all buy in, or what do we need here?
Yeah, buy in and get involved. Think about the partners, the community partners that you all work with. I mean, we all have so much of a large network, and this is just really, it's a grassroots effort. It's really not a high budget type of thing. It's just getting people involved and getting excited. So I'm really, I was just thrilled to be able to present it tonight and get the word out.
Okay. I think we're all in general agreement. Cleanup is good. Spring bloom is good.
Good.
Okay.
I'd like to talk about spring.
We're on board. Martha, thank you.
Thanks, Martha.
Okay. Next up are presentations. So as usual, we'll start with council members. Any council presentations, reports? Michelle?
Well, speaking of spring, I'd love this, this announcement is that we are looking at the Recreation Commission. The Recreation Department is looking to open up the summer applications for summer employment opportunities. You can go to princetonrecreation.org if you have any young students or anyone that's interested in applying. So it's always fun to be able to make that announcement in the middle of February. The only other things I just wanted to just bring everyone up to speed. The Recreation Commission is moving forward, setting up a subcommittee to continue the work on Community Park South, to start to look at priorities and how this project could be tackled maybe in various phases, and to talk about what the priorities are, because obviously we can't do it all, and we can't do it all at once. Once we have some feedback, the Recreation Commission will make their ideas known, and then looking towards working with engineering to create the RFP process for the next phase. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Leticia, did you have your hand up? Oh, sorry. Other council announcements or reports or anything? Okay. Anything from the staff here? Yes?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Engineering wants to report a little bit about the developments in the cell communications field. If you recall, we had a meeting in May of last year where Verizon and Crown Castle appeared to discuss the coverage in Princeton. I'm happy to report that they listened. They were cowed when they were here, and they walked away and decided to work together. And I'll just give a few statistics. Since that meeting, we have approved 38 installations of new or replacement or swapping out, upgrading of existing facilities. 26 of the 38 of them are actually existing or replacement of poles that are going to be upgraded. We have 60 of those installations currently in the review process. You will be seeing site license agreements come in front of council for approval to take care of these upgrades. I do have some graphics, but I noticed that the screen's not working. It was? Okay. If Adam could, oh, he has. Thank you. It's kind of hard when you're not facing the screen. So, if you recall in May, and I don't see it, Adam, it's table 2 HDMI. It's not showing up on your screens, is it?
We're happy to just listen.
Okay. Our police department drives around the community, of course, all the time, and while they're driving around, they're able to detect the level of signals that they're getting in their own vehicles. And if you recall, there was a map that was shown in May that had a lot of orange and red, red being areas of almost no service, orange being a little bit of service, and then green, some green areas. In the beginning of February this year, a lot of the orange has disappeared, and which is just indicative of the fact that they are upgrading their equipment. We still have some pockets of poor service areas, particularly up along the ridge, but Verizon is putting in some new facilities on Drake's Corner Road and Bogart Court. In the Pretty Brook area, we're going to be seeing some new small cell antennas put up. And I'll remind everybody that these small cells, they're just, most of them out in the township area, in the rural areas, they're wooden poles with what looks like a large can on top. Those are the small cell antennas. We've already got a couple of them that have come online. One of them was at Walnut and Geo. If you drive by, you may not notice it. Did I do something wrong? Yeah. So anyway, the whole point of this is that we're working very closely with Verizon and Crown Castle in siting these in the right locations to enhance the services and make the community safer so that they have access to cell service. So.
Terrific. Glad there's actually some progress.
Thank you, Jim.
And we have 2 more updates. Adam, we don't need that anymore.
Perfect timing.
Can I just make a brief thank you, Jim, in particular, I mean, all of engineering, but I know how hard you have worked on this, and really that meeting where we had so many residents come in, and I vividly remember the map, the police scanner map. And that was just, it was like, it was staged, because people went in and said, I live here and I don't have cell service. I live here and I don't have cell service. And then there was the map showing there was no cell service. So this is really exciting, and I know it's been a lot of work, and I just want to express our appreciation for, you know, for all of that. So really, thank you.
To have both Verizon and T-Mobile on them instead of having multiple poles around the community. They're working together to have either one antenna. The new technology is one antenna with each of the providers having connections within the antenna. In some cases, they'll have 2 antennas on the same pole.
Thank you.
Can I?
Deanna?
Can I just interrupt? And thank you, Jim. That's a great news. The bad news is I just noticed that some people maybe are not able to hear on the Zoom link. Do we know that? That the Zoom isn't working, just to let Adam know.
Okay.
The Zoom.
Okay. Go ahead, Deanna, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. 2 more updates from the engineering department. First is that we have successfully been awarded a federal grant through the U.S. Department of Agriculture to expand our food scrap recycling program. We had put in an application through this program last year, and just recently heard that we have been awarded the grant. It will start on June 1st, and the proposed project is to site 10 additional food scrap recycling drop-off locations throughout Princeton. To date, since we started the program on October 27th, we have recycled over 5 tons of residential food scraps. So it's pretty exciting that we can move ahead with that. The other update to give is more of an announcement, and that is we will be having a neighborhood meeting prior to the start of construction on Witherspoon Phase 3 improvements. That meeting will take place here in this room on Tuesday, February 20th at 6 p.m. We have distributed notices to businesses and residents in both English and Spanish to the community. And so just as a reminder, Witherspoon Phase 3 will take place from Lee Avenue down to Valley. So it will directly impact access to our parking lot, fire, police, And we have coordinated with those groups to make sure that they will still be able to pass through during construction. So everybody is invited to attend that meeting and learn more about the specifics of the project. We do have an opportunity down in this area. We will be building a demonstration rain garden out in front of our parking lot here. We're working with Sustainable Princeton to put in some interpretive signage to educate people about that rain garden. And we've started preliminary conversations with Community Park Elementary School to have the students assist us with putting the plants in the rain garden. So it's kind of exciting. It's our first big project to show green infrastructure to the community on a municipal piece of land.
Great.
Yep.
Maybe we can get some of the flood and storm committee members to participate too.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, and I also just wanted to mention, in case others haven't heard, I'm privy as a participant in the food waste recycling program to Jim's update emails, and in addition to the success of the volume that we've recycled, there's been almost 0% contamination. So it really, I just feel better and better about this approach. You know, it's so much more cost effective having residents bring the waste to these central locations. If we can have more of them, it will be more convenient. But you really end up having participants who are invested in the success of the program, self-selecting, and you know, it just works so much better that way. So I really want to just shout out to the folks who've worked on putting that together.
I just want to throw in another advantage of this is that it's free for all the participants. So it is, you know, we're always keeping our eye on equity. So this is something that anyone can participate in. So,
including residents of our rental housing properties, which they could not participate if it were curbside. So,
Okay, thank you. Any other staff announcements, presentations? Okay, council, last shot. Anything else? Terrific. Okay. Isaac, I think you are up next, sir.
Good evening, Your Honor. I was scared to ask if this is working, but I think it is. So good to be here with you tonight. I know we're getting late in the hour, and I'll try to keep my comments brief. As you know, I like to share what we've been working on the last 30 days, what we have planned for the next 30 days, and then one big item to share with you. So with that, in the last 30 days, we've been providing guidance to owners of vacant properties, attempting to match them with prospects, and to enhance the business mix in Princeton. So as you imagine, it's very sensitive work when we're talking about a building that's in transition, but it's an important role that the organization is playing, and I hope we'll have more to report on that, especially as we score some wins in the months ahead, that is. Our website directory is getting closer to completion with many of the categories finalized. I would encourage people to visit and view at experienceprinceton.org. We're at about the 70% completion mark, but continuing to chip away at that. I received a question from the administrator today about how many gift cards we've sold. The answer is $24,187.50 to date. That's since October last year. We've also seen $5,726.67 redeemed at local participating businesses, of which there's 62. The banners for Restaurant Week were designed actually by Same Brain, who you heard from earlier. And a special thank you, especially to Dan and the team with DPW for assisting in that installation. They've been really exceptional in all of our work with them. We have a wonderful crew of workers there, and a special thank you. And finally, our gift and sponsorship policy was approved by the board at our last meeting, and this will help to guide future actions when Experience Princeton is asked to sponsor activities of other organizations. So, what are we working on in the next 30 days? As we speak, we are finalizing the Main Street, New Jersey application for Princeton. It's a fairly complex undertaking. I already probably have about 60 hours invested in it and several more before we complete. But what will this do? It'll give us access, along with the 25 other current Main Street communities, to technical assistance from the Department of Community Affairs, but also through the Main Street America Network. And there's also opportunities in the future to apply for grants, but this is not a grant. It's a community designation, and we will bring forward the resolution and look forward to your review and hopeful approval of that. We have our next Experience Princeton meetup, February 29th, 4 p.m. at the Art on Hallfish. The RSVPs are open. And our Experience Princeton Restaurant Week is from March 2nd to 8th. You can see the poster here. They'll be distributed throughout town. We've also printed 5,000 of the cards, the rack cards, to hand out to people in advance. And some of the places, I suppose I should hold it up when I talk about it, some of the places you'll expect to see us are on the front page of the Star Ledger in coming weeks, on the screen of the Garden Theater, and of course all throughout local media, including with Tap Into, Town Topics, Princeton Magazine, Princeton Monthly, and a number of others. It's our most comprehensive campaign to date, and it's largely supported by the sponsors who have given 3 times the amount that we raised in sponsorships last year. So everything's shaping up to be a big success, but the biggest part will be your help and others getting the word out. And last but not least, our Streetscapes team is going to be working to refresh the planting beds on Nassau Street that we started work on last fall, especially as the weather improves. And we're preparing for a board training with a nationally recognized expert on March 12th, which we're looking forward to. So lastly, the big item that I'd like to share with you tonight is this. Experience Princeton has been selected to present a 90-minute to 3-hour presentation, deep dive session as it's called, at the Main Street Now conference in Birmingham, Alabama. We're one of about 120 sessions that will be presented. This is the largest gathering of downtown revitalization professionals in the country each year, so it's a big honor. Joining me on the panel will be Marina Rubina, who many of you know, and also 2 other folks from New Jersey with a special connection to the topic. And the topic will deal with mental health as it relates to downtown revitalization, which should be very interesting. So just to note that the conference starts in 83 days and 5 hours. Not that we're keeping track, but really it's a great honor, almost in our inaugural year, to be selected and highlighted at this premier event. With that, that's my report.
Isaac, thanks. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think that this is okay to say. At the last Experience Princeton, well, at the Restaurant Week kickoff, you talked about an incentive for and I just think maybe that should get mentioned, unless I'm blowing your cover, in which case...
No, not at all.
Yeah,
not
okay.
at all. Your Honor, reference was made to our meetup, which is open to the public, so anything we say there can be shared. We encourage it. But the council member was kind to point out the fact between now and as long as the funds to support it are available, we're offering a $1 bonus for every $2 of gift cards people buy. Up to $200, you can buy a gift card, receive a $100 bonus, 2 gift cards per person. So I'll let you do the math. And I'm pleased to report that we have right in the neighborhood of about $12,000 of bonus funds still available. But we've sold more gift cards since launching that in the last week than almost a month or 2 prior. So, and once that hits the Star Ledger, all bets are off. The bonus will be gone in probably minutes. But thank you for bringing that up.
Isaac, thanks. And that's great hearing about that you'll be presenting and others will be presenting with you.
I have
Thank
a
you, Your
question
Honor.
for you, Isaac. I'm intrigued about the connection. I'm curious about the connection between mental health and downtown revitalization. I mean, I know there's chicken soup for the soul, but beyond that, is that just your panel, or that's the theme of the whole conference? And what is? Can you flesh that out?
I'd love to, and I actually have a prop, if you don't mind if I could grab it real quick.
Sure.
So this is a copy of the book, The Motivational Interviewing Path to Personal Change, written by another New Jersey resident, Dr. Michelle Drapkin, who's both a colleague and a friend who I encountered through the work. So ours is not the theme of the entire conference, but we do feed in to one of the conference themes, which I believe deals with inclusion and resilience, something to that effect. But what I'd commend to you is that about 2,000 people attend this conference. Many of them are directors like myself, but board members, public officials, others attend the conference as well. In fact, I believe there's a discounted rate for public officials to attend, which might be of interest and worth looking into for anyone who would like to be there. But what we're going to go through is an approach that really puts mental health at the forefront of the work that professional staff are doing, but also the people who support those staff members, such as board members, elected officials, and others. And I think it's a very timely and relevant topic. I think that's one of the reasons they selected it. And for me, it's really been a personal passion for many years now, bringing this mental health awareness to the work that we do day in and day out. Because we both need to refer to ourselves and how we can bring our best self to the work, but we need to be sensitive that we're often operating in an environment that's informed by trauma. And how can we interact with people who may be going through a traumatic situation in an empathetic and constructive and supportive manner.
Thank you, Isaac.
You're welcome. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Next up on the agenda are comments from the public for items not on the agenda. Just come up, state your name, your address, and the wicked 3-minute limit. But
okay, Wilma Solomon, 41 TR Place. First of all, I really want to thank Council President Sachs and members Perron Lambros and Niedergang, and maybe there were others who negotiated with Princeton University. And part of that, of course, was funding for rental assistance, emergency housing, and higher education scholarships. And so thank you so much, so needed. And I hope that the relevant funds will help to keep our more vulnerable residents right here in Princeton. So last month I spoke about the Racial Equity Impact Assessment Toolkit that was presented and supported by Council. Most of you were involved in December of 2020. And the toolkit was the operational follow-up to your resolution declaring racism as a public health crisis. So this toolkit will provide a lens through which proposed or existing implementation of budgets, programs, activities, policies, guidelines, projects, or procedures can be examined for their impact on different racial and ethnic groups. The goal is to prevent structural and institutional anti-Black racism and to minimize adverse consequences to historically marginalized communities and therefore addressing longstanding inequities in Princeton. Members of this council describe the toolkit as, quote, very necessary, that it will, quote, provide incredible value in making decisions to ensure equity, and that it really touches on everything. At that meeting over 3 years ago, 3 steps were identified regarding the toolkit. These were to provide municipal staff with training on implicit and unconscious bias, something that David really brought up, how important that was initially, to have members of the Civil Rights Commission subcommittee that drafted the toolkit make presentations to department heads, and then to create a plan and do a pilot study with one department to see what modifications might be needed in the toolkit. This would be followed by use of the toolkit throughout the municipality, including on boards and commissions whose members also would receive training. With the large list of resources that exist in this document, along with the commitment of the council members, the expertise of the former Civil Rights Commission subcommittee that put this together, and others in the community, I am hopeful that implementation of this toolkit will be a reality this year. Thank you. I want to say one little thing about the presentation on Bloom Princeton. I noticed that in outreach it said churches. So maybe some of us don't think of churches as a generic term, so I would offer congregations, religious groups, religious institutions, or something else like that. Thanks.
Thank you, Wilma. Thank you. Okay. Any other comments from the public for anything not on the agenda in the room? All right. Adam, do we have anybody on Zoom that has a hand up? All right, seeing no hands up and no one else in the room, we'll close that part of the meeting. And we have 2 sets of minutes to approve, November 27th, a regular meeting, and a closed session on December 5th, both of last year, if someone wants to move. Thank you, Eve. Is there a second? Thank you, David. All in, okay, sorry, any questions or comments on either one of those?
No.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. On my agenda next is a work session, but I don't believe we're having a work session tonight, right? Okay. Sorry? Right, we're not, right. No. Yeah, I know. It's on mine for some reason. It's whatever I like. Okay. All right. I got to run out and buy a lottery ticket so I can retire tomorrow. Okay. Ordinance, we have public hearing on ordinance 2024-04, an ordinance authorizing the lease of a portion of the Community Park South tennis facility for a public purpose to the Princeton Tennis Program pursuant to the local lands and building law, NJSA 40A-12-14C and NJSA 40A-12-15I. Is there a motion? Thank you, David. Layton's got the second. Any council questions?
If I may.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to mention that this has been a long-standing relationship with Princeton Tennis Program. It's really an important, essential group, and they do a lot of good in terms of managing and bringing the community there to play tennis. It's really helpful for the recreation department from a staffing standpoint and also from a maintenance standpoint. We are extending this only for a year and then a year at a time after that to give us the flexibility. And we're also only extending it to 12 courts to allow for 3 courts to be converted to pickleball on an ongoing basis. Other than that, there was an increase in terms of the commitment to help with maintenance. It hadn't been increased in many years. So I'd just like to thank the Recreation Department team, the commissioners that were on the negotiating committee, and also to Princeton Tennis, because it's really a good relationship. So thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Any other comments and questions by council members? David?
Yeah, I just want to, I know Michelle already sort of said it, but underscore, it's pretty cool that we got a substantial increase while we're giving them use of fewer courts. So good job, negotiating team.
Okay. Any other council comments, questions? Any public comments or questions on this ordinance introduction, or this ordinance hearing? All right, seeing none, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Perron-Lambros?
Yes.
Ms. Niedergang?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Ms. Sachs?
Yes.
Ms. Fraga?
Yes.
Mr. Newland?
Yes.
Carried.
Thank you very much. Next, we have ordinance introductions. Ordinance 2024-05, an ordinance by the municipality of Princeton concerning noise from gas-powered generators and amending Chapter 21 of the Code of the Borough of Princeton, New Jersey, 1974. The public hearing would be February 26, 2024. Is there a motion on that? Eve, thank you very much. Is there a second? Layton, thank you. Roll call vote?
Ms. Perron-Lambros?
Yes.
Ms. Niedergang?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Ms. Sachs? Yes. Ms. Fraga?
Yes.
Mr. Newland?
Yes.
Carried.
Thank you. Next introduction is ordinance 2024-06, an ordinance by the municipality of Princeton pursuant to NJSA 40A-12-3, accepting the donation of vacant real property located on River Road and designated as Block 1504, Lot 3, Q0013, Princeton Tax Map. Public hearing February 26, 2024. Is there a motion? Thank you, David. Mia's got the second. Roll call vote?
Ms. Perron-Lambros?
Yes.
Ms. Niedergang?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Ms. Sacks?
Yes.
Ms. Fraga?
Yes.
Mr. Newland?
Yes.
Carried.
Thank you. Next is ordinance 2024-07, an ordinance by the municipality of Princeton, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, pursuant to new NJSA 40A12-13B4, authorizing the vacation. It is say it some way. I just keep thinking my mind's going, wait a minute, I'm not going on vacation. Of an abandoned sanitary sewer easement on block 270.04, lot 19, Princeton tax map, 43 Spring Street. Public hearing, February 26, 2024. Is there a motion on that? Thank you, Mia. Is there a second? Eve's got the second. Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Peron-Lambros?
Yes.
Ms. Niedergang?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Ms. Sacks?
Yes.
Mr. Newland?
Yes.
Oh, Ms. Fraga, sorry.
Yes.
Whoever.
Too fast.
Okay. Ordinance 2024-08, an ordinance by the municipality of Princeton regarding the Princeton Fire Department and amending Chapter 8 of the Code of the Township of Princeton, New Jersey, 1968. Public hearing, February 26, 2024. Is there, Michelle, thank you. And is there a second? Thank you, Mia. Roll call vote?
Ms. Peron-Lambros?
Yes.
Ms. Niedergang?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Ms. Sacks?
Yes.
Ms. Fraga?
Yes.
Mr. Newland? Carried.
Thank you. Next up, we have resolutions. As mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, the first resolution, 2447, will come back to us at a future date. Next would be 2448, resolution of the Mayor and Council of Princeton authorizing the award of a professional services agreement to Remington and Vernick Engineers to create and update sanitary sewer and stormwater systems GIS layers for an amount not to exceed $319,975. Is there, Mia, thank you. Eve's got the second. Questions and comments?
I'll just say it's one more step towards having a real GIS system. It's something we've been dreaming about for many years.
Yes.
Both GIS and sewer, two of our fantasies.
All right. Seeing no other questions or comments, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
2449, resolution of the Mayor and Council of Princeton authorizing a one-year extension to the contract with U.S. Athletic Fields, Inc. for turf management services for an amount not to exceed $24,330.66. Is there a, thank you, David. Is there a set? Layton's got the second. Questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
2450, resolution of the Mayor and Council of Princeton authorizing a one-year extension to the contract with U.S. Athletic Fields, Inc. for mowing and trimming of grass areas in public parks for $103,303.47. Is there, Eve's got the motion, David's got the second. Questions or comments? Eve?
Yeah, I just want to make sure, and I guess this is something I'll reach out to Rec on directly, that we're using the most sustainable, most environmentally friendly methods here as we mow, that is in areas where we can mulch the grass back in rather than get rid of it, that we're doing that. So if you're nodding, if you know if we're already doing this.
Yes, we're already doing that.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Saves me an email.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
2451, resolution of the Mayor and Council of Princeton amending a professional services agreement with NV5 in the amount of $3,734.50 for preliminary engineering services in connection with the Princeton Safe Routes to School project, resulting in an amended contract total of $306,874.63. David's got the motion, Michelle's got the second. Questions or comments? David?
Yeah, I just wanted to give Jim an opportunity. I had a question in reviewing the proposal, which makes reference to the possible need to delineate an historic district as part of the services that are being provided. And Jim, could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, the review of the environmental document identified the need for a Section 106, which is a federal review of cultural resources. So this proposal is related to getting the appropriate professionals out in the field to do historic architectural surveys, and determine whether or not there are any historic resources. If they do identify any historic resources, there is a possibility that they could recommend that we designate an historic district. There's no reason to believe that that would happen at this time, hence the survey needs to be completed first before we know anything more.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
2452, resolution of the Mayor and Council of Princeton authorizing release of a performance guarantee in the amount of $267,154.93 to the Snowden Development LLC for Windy Top Major Subdivision, Block 3001, Lots 1 and 2, 542 and 546 Snowden Lane. Is there a motion on that? Thank you, David. Is there a second? Thank you, Leighton.
I would like to note that with council's support of this resolution, that includes that Princeton is accepting the dedication of the public improvements, which includes the roadway. So just wanted to make that clear that with this action, the roadway will become public, and maybe even tomorrow we might need to start plowing it.
So we shouldn't approve this till tomorrow night after the snow is gone?
Yeah, let's put an effective date of like July 1st now.
Thank you, Deanna. Any questions or comments? I see none. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
2453, resolution of the Mayor and Council of Princeton authorizing change order number 1 to the contract with Omar and Justin Zink, trading as Justin Tree Services and Lawn Care for the 2023 tree removal project for additional municipal tree removal services for $32,665. Is there a motion on that? Thank you, Leighton. Eve's got the second. Questions or comments? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
2454, resolution of the Mayor and Council of Princeton authorizing the award of an extraordinary unspecifiable services agreement to Sustainable Princeton for an amount not to exceed $105,000. Mia's got the motion, David's got the second. Questions or comments?
Just like to thank
Sustainable Princeton.
Yes. Ditto. Jinx. And thank you, Jenny, for being here tonight.
Could,
Is the public allowed to speak to any of these?
sure.
Can I just ask Jenny this question? This struck me, because I'm ignorant about it. Unspecifiable services. And I actually don't understand how Sustainable Princeton fits into the municipality. Are you private or are you governmental? And what is this? So you're saying you're just giving them $105,000 to do whatever they need to do? Is that what it is? Because I just explained.
That's not what it is.
Just explain. Can you just explain?
There's a list, a specific list of services. Let me pull that up.
And while Eve is doing that, I'll just mention there are several NGOs in town, Sustainable Princeton, the Senior Resource Center, the library, where we provide funding in exchange for services that we would have to provide ourselves if they weren't being provided by the NGO. So that's the basic model that we're operating on.
Got it. I guess I got confused because you have an office right there in Monument Hall, and I always thought that it's part of the government, but then I got it. Got it. Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I can read.
Yeah,
if
so
it's okay, just a few of the things. It's Exhibit B in the agenda. You wouldn't have it printed out. It's part of the longer agenda packet. But here's a few things. Oversee ongoing implementation and fulfillment of the Climate Action Plan. Support measurable performance objectives, cost assessments, and tracking methods for sustainability goals. Support municipal staff in fulfilling sustainability priorities that align with council and staff goals. Attend infrastructure and operations committee meetings to support sustainability-related initiatives. Maintain partnerships with community institutions. businesses, educational institutions, and other stakeholders to help carry out the municipality's sustainability initiatives, prepare grant applications, help to infuse a sustainability lens through all municipal initiatives, work with municipal departments, boards, committees, and commissions to manage Princeton's Sustainable Jersey certification, leverage community networks to support the municipality's communications about sustainable related issues. I'll just mention two things real quick that Sustainable Princeton is doing. One is helping us come up with a plan, working with grant funding through our utility company to enhance the sustainability of our municipal buildings, which will save us money and reduce, greenhouse gases. And then they are working on a community solar, which would be for middle and lower income people, which can offer 10 to 20% decrease on your electricity bills. You don't have to put anything on your house. You just kind of indicate that you want to be a part of it. So Sustainable Princeton will be leading us through that process. So they're an invaluable partner. But
Got it.
Thanks
I
for
got
asking.
it. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. But,
Yeah,
It's a good
no, it's
question.
a good question.
taxpayer here. So
And actually,
I
I
love
also-
Jenny, but, be responsible citizens.
Yeah, no, it's good. And I'd like to just give Trishka a moment to speak to the extraordinary and unspecifiable services, which does sort of jump out as kind of a suspicious if you don't know about it, so.
Yeah, sure. So it's one of two kinds of contracts that you don't actually have to put out to bid. But it's a situation where...
Wilma, I'm sorry, Trishka's answering your question.
It's also for the council.
Go ahead. She's describing in legal terms what extraordinary and unspecifiable services are.
In essence, it is types of services that really you can't fully define and express the qualifications in such an objective way that you would be able to simply bid and award on the basis of price. There's a lot of discretion involved and kind of things that aren't quantifiable. Hence the title, unspecified.
Yes, thank you. And I'm sure it's good for all of us to be reminded why that exists as well.
Actually occurred to me, it's not the services that are unspecifiable, it's difficult to specify exactly what the qualifications are, what the person is that would be in the running or that you would award the contract.
Okay, great.
And I'll
Thank
just say that Sustainable Princeton staff work around the clock, 7 days a week, really, between all of them in building community and do a lot, wear many hats to integrate sustainability in a way that prioritizes equity as well, because it's very important in the way you approach sustainability. And we are very, very grateful for their commitment to and devotion to our community.
Maybe we should give them more.
Well, you can
Easy there, Wilma.
come to the microphone next year and advocate for that.
And just for anybody that happens to watch this broadcast of this meeting, if you want to see all the details, it's on page 124 and 125 of the agenda packet. Any other comments or questions on this? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
2455, resolution of the Mayor and Council of Princeton authorizing the award of professional services agreement to Clark Caton Hintz for affordable housing planning services for an amount not to exceed $50,000. Is there, thank you, Mia. David's got the second. Questions or comments? Mia.
I just want to say that this, that I was the Wilma on this one, and this came twice to council, and both times I bumped it off because I wasn't sure exactly. We use this planning firm for in a number of different capacities. This has nothing to do with the master plan. It has nothing to do with planning at all. In fact, this is part of the state's requirement that we comply with all sorts of
Reports.
Monitoring reports.
It's monitoring, it monitors our affordable housing trust fund, making sure that those monies are being appropriately separated and the expenditures are targeted for things that are authorized. It's an amazing morass of regulatory compliance mechanisms that Clark Kane Hints is doing for us. So now that we know what it is, I think we're ready to approve it after, 3-4 months?
Thank you. Other questions or comments on this one? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
2456, resolution of the Mayor and Council of Princeton supporting the establishment of a New Jersey Target Zero Commission as proposed in Senate Bill 361. Michelle's got the motion, David's got the second.
I'd
Yep.
like to move it, but with one slight addition, if I may mention, that there's an accompanying Assembly Bill 1476 that we should also note in the title of this. It's also very important that we have this resolution, so if we could just make the motion with that slight amendment to add the Assembly Bill again, it's 1476.
I will second with that amendment.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. Any other questions or comments on these two bills? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
2457, resolution authorizing the execution and submission of application for the 2024 First Responders Radio Grant, which makes available $222,000 to the Princeton Fire Department and Princeton First Aid and Rescue Squad. Is there a motion on that? Thank you, Leighton. Is there a second? Eve. Questions or comments? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Next up is the consent agenda. If anyone has anything they want us to pop out of that, if not, somebody could move the entire consent agenda.
Can you just give us a moment? I just want.
I'm sorry? Yeah, sure. We're going to take a minute, and everybody can look at each thing, make sure that you're...
Can I ask the clerk a quick question? I sent you an email about a small error on the last one. Can we just pass it? You've made the change. I was not. I was eating dinner, but thank you.
You're good? Okay.
I'm ready to move it.
Okay, David's moving the consent agenda. Is there a second? Thank you, Eve. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
David, do you have a motion?
I move we adjourn.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Eve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are done. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.